Grade 4. The teacher was Mr. Deegan, and he was a very likable teacher. There's nothing to dislike about him. He was very young. He had a sports car. I guess you could fit four people could sit in it. It was a convertible. And he was just young, and he was like one of us as opposed to somebody trying to teach from the outside. He was right there. I don't remember anything I was taught. Well, obviously I do, because here I am and I know a few things, but nothing memorable. I guess by that time we were into history and geography and spelling, reading, history, geography, and math. I kind of was interested. I found that interesting. Yeah, problem solving. English. Could never grasp. I find English was a hard course to take, hard subject to take. It's just so dry to learn it. Yeah. Apparently I did okay, and every now and then somebody would notice a little flash there that they thought, oh, maybe he's got something there, maybe we could develop that. But they never did, and I didn't reciprocate. I didn't care for English class, which is strange because I do like to write and sometimes write seriously, like correctly. And I don't really have the skills, and yeah, I have some interest, but I don't like the learning part because it's not math I can understand. History, quite straightforward. You kind of live it. You read about it, but you live it too, and it becomes part of you. And geography, that was interesting. All these places and countries and what they do. Spelling. I think that's the only thing in life that I was number one at least that year. I could spell. I don't remember if we talked about racing or not. I can't remember. I could also run really fast. All through school, I could run really fast. 100-yard dash, that was my specialty. And there was always one guy, always, who could beat me. Always. No matter how hard I tried, he'd be 2 or 3 steps ahead at the end. Maybe even not that much, but he always won. It was never different. That was so frustrating. I could never be number one. And in summer we had a park program in our park, and he wasn't part of it. He was not part of our park. And so I could run, and I ran really fast. But there was one guy who didn't go to our school, but went to our park who always beat me in the same way. Some people are just faster and nothing you can do about it. You can try harder, you can try harder, you can try harder, but they win. Sometimes they didn't show up, and then I could win, but it's not the same. Yeah. Okay, so I could spell. Grade 4. I think that's going to be the only memorable moment in grade 4. No, two moments. That's it. Grade 4. Well, the whole school, they had a spelling contest, and each class had their own contest. And then when you had your representatives, then they would go downstairs to the auditorium, and there would be a spelling bee, and all the parents would be invited to come, and yeah, it's a big show. Well, I won our class, easy. I mean, I just, in that particular time, I could win. Maybe grade 3, grade 5 would be different, but grade 4, no. That was the one time I did good. And I got to represent our class. Well, maybe there was someone else, 2 or 3 of us, I don't remember. But I know I won. Hands down, I won. So we went down to the auditorium on the day the spelling bee was, and get up on the stage, I guess it was, and sat at our desks. I don't know how many people there were, 300 maybe, a lot of people, just a lot of people, full. And there was a guy that read the word, and then a whole bunch of teachers walking around making sure that everyone did it right and didn't mess up. I think I got the first word right. The second word was beginning. Well, I could do that one. B-E-G-G. Oh no, just one G. Too late. You're out. What? Well, I know how to spell beginning. I just started to write a G, and no, you're out. No, you got to leave the stage. No, but I did. I didn't just leave the stage. I left the stage. I left the gymnasium. I left the hallway. I left the building, and I started out going as far away as I possibly could. That was the most embarrassing thing that I think has ever happened, or it was embarrassing. It was hurtful. Second word, I was out, and I was good at it, and I knew the word. I knew how to spell it. I just accidentally started to write a second G, and I tried to correct it right away, but you can't correct it in a spelling bee. And too bad, you're gone. Oh, I think my dad came up and found me and made everything better, and life carried on. I didn't die. I still don't like spelling that word, because sometimes I do that. I still write B-E-G-G-O. No, that's not right. And memories flood back. It's 2 N's, not 2 G's. Anyway, yeah. Remember that in grade 4. And the teacher, he did something neat, Mr. Deacon. He did something neat. Once a month, I think it was, he picked a student of the month. And that student that was picked could then pick his own friend, and the two of them would go in the sports car after school and go on a little tour of part of the island of Montreal. usually to an historical site, or a few other places. And same thing, it came. Well, okay, this is the time we're going to pick the winner, and everyone's hand goes up. Pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. I didn't do that. I didn't play that game. You get picked or you don't get picked. And he I can't remember for sure, but in this particular case, I knew he was going to pick me before he picked me. I just knew. Maybe he looked at me, or there's something just told me he's going to pick me. Yeah, neat. But I had to wait to find out because I didn't know for sure. I think I did really well in a test that week, or I did something maybe that's a little bit exceptional, and it came time and he picked me. Anyway, however, I knew. I was not surprised. He picked me, and I took a fellow that lived in my street just down the road from me. Well, he wasn't terribly close to. Was I ever close to anybody at that age? But he lived down the street from me, and he'd come from England. I guess his father got transferred here for a while, and he came from England, and he was in our class for a few years. And I asked him to come, and we drove through Bay Durfee and the St. Anne de Bellevue, and some old buildings and some historic stuff, I guess. And we came to the docks at St. Anne de Bellevue. The docks and the locks. Right at the edge of the island of Montreal were rapids, and the St. Lawrence River was on one side. It was just going by, and the Ottawa River was on the other side, and it was just going by. But there was a drop. The water in the Ottawa River was higher than the water in the St. Lawrence. And as it went by St. Anne de Bellevue, a lot of the water left the Ottawa River and went over the rapids into the St. Lawrence. And boats that wanted to go from one side to the other couldn't go over the rapids. And even if they could, well, they couldn't. So they had to use the locks. I didn't think that's what they were called. Canal with locks. And if you're on the Ottawa side, you're up high, so you had to go into the locks, and they closed the gates, and they dropped the water down low. And then when it was low, you could drive. Do boats drive? You can go up the other side into the St. Lawrence River. So he sort of told us about how that worked. And my dad and I went fishing there lots. So it was not a big surprise, but it was really nice to do. And the teacher picked us, and we got picked anyway. And that's the kind of things he did. And we went to Pierrefonds and Dollard des Ormeaux, which is named after a French guy for something. I remember reading in the history books I don't know what he did anymore, but we saw some historic things, and then he did touch on history in that little tour, and he drove us home, and that was my student of the month thing. And lastly, he didn't have a teaching certificate, but he was an excellent teacher. Everybody knew it. I'm sure the school board knew it too. But he never got a teaching certificate. You could just teach good. And the teacher next door, in grade 5, was a spiteful person. and envious too, I think, because Mr. Deegan was really popular. Kind of an athletic kind of guy too. I don't remember it being terribly so, but that would fit. Not much, but enough. And the grade grade 5 teacher next door, who's our local pedophile, our school male pedophile. He turned him in. He filed a complaint, or said this guy doesn't have a teaching certificate and he's teaching. Well, then the school board has to act. They can know he's a good teacher, but there's rules and there's rules and there's rules, and if you don't have a teaching certificate, then you can't teach. And once the year was over, he never came back. Yeah, that was our school's loss, and my goodness, some people are just good at what they do. They could teach the teachers. Anyway, that was the end of him after the school year was over. But that was a good year. Yeah. So that was grade 4.